want to step into more. So that we're always going to be leading with whichever foot we're going in the direction of. But in here, I would say we're looking to load, stride in with the long back leg and then kind of recover or just come out of it and double rhythm back. So from here, thinking more linear versus angular, linear being line racket, stepping in body, angular being low to high, high to low, rotational. Everything has some of both, but middle third of the court, thinking more linear than angular. When we start moving to the outside thirds, wanting to start thinking more angular for a couple of reasons. One being wanting to get the rotation to help lead the way back into space needing to cover is important. Also, anytime we're trying to get balls up and down, so where can we create more angle from? So anywhere shorter in the court, anywhere wider in the court. We get wide and short, we can certainly create the most angle from there. So anytime we're trying to get balls up and down into spaces, we're needing to use spin. So if we're trying to use spin, we want to be thinking angular with body and angular there. So now we're talking about being out here and being able to set up and rotate through when possible. If needing to be on the run, thinking about outside foot landing or what we've been working on the short ball in here of getting in and getting that little kick out step, pretty much the same thing going out wide. So essentially just outside foot landing. Okay, so as opposed to landing here and getting locked up with hips, making sure even if we're here, getting boom and landing outside foot, though preferred would be to be out, and to be able to get more rotation. But either way, making sure we're outside foot landing. You can see with Rhiannon, where she gets locked up doing this and then trying to come, and she doesn't get quite enough rotation in. I watched her in the tournament do a couple, the way she's been training it, or they've all been training it, and it looked so much different. It just looked like I was looking at two entirely different people. So certainly thinking, and I watched a clip on the Player Development 2.0 site, guys doing this analysis of video, and he's basically screen scraped the Federer-Wawrinka match, and he was showing Federer hit the little short slice line to Wawrinka, and him having to do something. What happened was Wawrinka's ball came, landed in here. He had to then think about possibly covering the open court. Federer went behind him for a clean winner. Would have liked to have seen what would have happened had Wawrinka's ball been more off the court rather than through the court so much. I think it would have been a better solution, which is what we've been working on, but not going for so much angle, but a slow roller. So I think that's a good solution. When going back into the forehand corner, thinking, and I guess even the backhand corner, that getting up and rotated, not being afraid to give ground, but knowing that if I'm going to give ground, it also means I'm not getting probably the same type of penetration of my ball speed-wise, so needing to make sure that add height and spin so that the ball, once it reacts with the court, is up and keeping the person naturally back further in the court rather than encouraging them to come forward in the court. What are we doing if we're going straight back? I say that's a tough one. That's probably the hardest one to figure out of what am I going to do if I have to come straight back and go. I mean, I'd say we're trying to get behind it, but probably the same thing, but more so than the others, if you can get behind it and fight back through it. Big key on that one is going to be getting people to understand if I can go halfway back to the wall, the fence, or less, in order to get a ball more in my strike zone, to go back. If I need to go more than halfway back in order to get the ball more in my strike zone, my better option is to come forward. Short balls. Short balls kind of have what I think of as 3 different options. So if I'm coming forward, anytime a ball is low, I want to think about being closer to the ball rather than further away. I mean, it's just kind of natural that when I'm close to the ball and the ball's up high, I'm here. So I don't want to be here, I want to be further away. And when the ball's down low, and if I'm further away, I'm here bent over, but if the ball's closer, I'm more in here. So anytime, that's why we're kind of thinking outside foot close to the ball on that short, low ball on the forehand side. But coming forward, if I'm thinking about approach shots or mid-court winners, and they're very different, but so let's kind of go over approach shots. If I'm thinking the ball's low, so kind of this orange baseline or forward, and I'm moving to it and it's kneecaps or below, maybe even mid-thigh or below, I want to think about going inverted step. I don't know if it's as important to turn here or to just come, if you're just running and getting to it, just run. And here and through. So onside leg coming as the racket's kind of more here, not back here. Don't want to see airplanes. And then as the racket comes forward, so comes the leg and finish. If the ball is mid-thigh or above, I like to see, in the middle third anyways, using what I refer to as a hip-hop step, which is a run to the ball, last step with your onside leg being slightly turned onto the front leg, and hopping as we're going. So offside leg to offside leg. Or, gonna run, turn, boom, and continue forward as we're going. Key is want to keep momentum going on those balls. So if it's low and short, I want to be here, boom, and I can keep going. If it's higher, now I want to think, all right, let me keep my shoulders closed, boom, but still keep my momentum going. So the other one is when the ball is on the outside third. So now we're talking about, again, using that, here, this back one is that kind of pivoting on that foot. I like to think this one here, if I'm moving inside the court also, I'm going to move, I'm going to hit, boom, and drive up the line. So it's a 1-foot pivot on the dominant leg, the other leg and knee driving up into the court, forward, and then making the adjustment from there. Not so much coming out, boom, and turning back so much, although I guess maybe turning back, if I take that ball across, I want to pivot through it so that I'm moving in the direction of the ball. I would almost refer to it as, when you do that, take this other knee and drive it in the direction of where you tried to hit the ball. So if I go line, driving it straight up. If I decide to go cross, boom, here and through. Okay. So those would be the 3 footwork patterns I would look at for someone in transition. Nice thing about orange courts now, we have this line which somewhat is a demarcation of the point of no return, meaning if I must move inside this line to hit my shot, to strike the ball, then I probably want to be going forward. If I'm behind it and I'm striking it at the speed the balls move and how it's able to get the ball up and down into spaces in the court, I might want to think about recovering back. So even from here, coming, boom, rotating, and getting back, or double rhythming back, depending on what somebody's more comfortable with. Recovery footwork, basically within the middle third of the court, I would say once squared or catch step. So if I'm hitting, even if I'm stepping in, boom, catch step, I'm just gonna shuffle double rhythm back. If on the outside third of the court, now we're talking about that being here and dig stepping, and then double rhythming back. That's what we talked about the other day. I don't know, if you watch the pros a lot, they're not dig stepping a lot. They're gonna shuffle even from there. Most of the time, they've made good shot selections, and the person's not going to attack them as much, just because of the quality of ball they manage to hit. The Stan Wawrinka, Roger Federer example, I think showed, though, Wawrinka moved from about here, boom, to about here. By the time Federer went back there behind him for a clean winner. But it was also on clay, so movement compromised to some degree in terms of what somebody can do. What else?